Hi, it's Kate here again from Life is Now. I'm day 5 of the Camino de Santiago today. I have new trainers. My feet were hurting a lot. Found some, they're very expensive, but they seem to be working, so that's a bit of a relief. So I've had this beautiful day. I think I'm in a place called Olgano. I'm on my way to Puente la Reina. And I thought today what I'd like to talk about is how the mind can very easily disappear off into the past or the future, and how essentially one of the things that mindfulness does for us is a way of recognising where it wanders off to, and how we are able to bring it back to the here and now, and also why bother? Why do we need to bring it into the here and now? So when we start to notice our mind and where it disappears off to, and we become the observer, because like in the last video, when we start to realise actually that we're not our mind, we can start to watch it and notice, almost like we're watching the TV. And what we notice is that the mind generally does one of two things. I'm just going to wave to a lady. Hi, Anne. And it tends to either go back into the past, and it does a lot of if only, a lot of reflection, a lot of sort of thinking about things that have happened. And of course, none of the stuff we can change. It's already happened, it's done. But the mind likes to spend a lot of time there. Particularly, I see in clients of mine that have depression, their mind is just going over and over and over past stuff, regret, and essentially, because the mind is always trying to help us, it goes into the past really with the intention of fixing, the intention of resolving, understanding, all of these things. The reality is often what happens is we get deeper and deeper into those stories, those narratives around the things that have happened to us in the past. They don't actually fix anything. If anything, they can bring up more feelings, more frustrations. We can identify even more with it. It starts to become who we are. We're almost like living in the past. Often, people can become very attached to their history, their story. And really, the past is useful purely as a reference point. We may need to refer to it briefly, but actually, it's detracting us from life right here, right now, in this moment. And I think I may have mentioned in the last video, but if not, certainly it's something I often ask people to do, and that is, if you look back on your life right now, and you just go back to a moment when you were just completely joyful, and you remember that moment wherever you were, whatever you were doing, and in that moment, was your mind in the past, the future, or just in that moment? Of course, it was there. And so actually the joy, the happiness that probably in truth most of us seek in our lives is right here, right now, in this moment. And yet we often go back into the past and also into the future, which is what I will talk about next, to try and find that, to try and seek that out. And of course, we kind of say, if only that hadn't happened. And then with the future, we say, but what if, what if this might happen? What if that might happen? And also we look to this future point that's going to save us, We think that when I have this, when I have the perfect relationship, when I have the perfect job, when my children are happy or whatever it is, then I will be okay. And of course, when we get to that future moment, then we're looking to the next moment. So, that classic saying, life is what happens while we make other plans, or, so many expressions. It's all about the journey and not the destination. We've all heard it, but I feel there's immense truth in that. When we experience anxiety, what the mind tends to do is just race ahead into the future and generally catastrophize. I mentioned this, I think, on the last video. It does a lot of the what if this happened, what if that happened. And again, that can be really enticing, really tempting to stay with that, because again, the mind's trying to help us and it's trying to warn us. This was how we evolved, how we survived, this ability to project, to anticipate danger and to avoid it. The problem is that in our this day and age, the majority of the time, anticipating danger doesn't really help us. We're not running away from saber-toothed tigers or lions. We are